The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
What's up, besties? This is episode 32, Girls, One Cup of Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes, and hey, I'm still the second part of that title. I'm going to keep it real brief, but I just wanted to say Happy New Year to all of you besties. Thank you so much for listening and for subscribing and being so amazing. 2019 was really fun, and 2020 is going to be even better. So here is to more laughs, and here is to you, the Childlike at Best family. This episode is my good friend Dean Rashdi. Dean is a very funny stand-up comedian who performs all over South Florida. We had such a great time together talking, and I really think that you guys are going to enjoy this episode. There's a lot of laughs in this one. So without further ado, please enjoy Dean Rashdi. Hey everybody, this is Childlike at Best with Mike Valdes. Hey guys, guess what? I'm Mike Valdes, and today I have a really awesome guest with me, Dean Rashdi.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
That's I did, yeah.
I like that. Super
Do people always get it wrong?
Oh, my, yeah. You're actually maybe second or third person to actually get it right.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Well, I mean, not that Dean, because Dean isn't actually my first name.
Yeah.
But Rashdi, that part, yeah.
Yeah,
People
well, I could be wrong, but like usually whenever I say someone's name, I just go phonetically.
Yeah.
You know, and so...
So a lot of people with that, they'll get intimidated and they'll add letters to make it comfortable. No. So they'll be like Rashidi. And I'm like, I don't know why you're adding an I.
That's crazy.
Rashdi. Too simple.
It's just Rashdi.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah, I love it. Well, the first thing we like to do here at Childlike at Best, before I ask you the first question, is we like to take a Flintstones vitamin.
Okay.
I have these Flintstones Complete gummies for you, and you can take one, let the audience know what you got. I'll take one with you.
Oh, perfect. All right. I wasn't hoping for an orange one, and I didn't. I got a red.
There you
I think
go.
It's cherry, right?
Yes,
Perfect.
It is. So, as you're taking that, can you please let the audience know where you grew up?
I was born in New York, raised in Philly. Well, raised in a town called Morrisville, which is like 15 minutes from Philly.
Okay.
But I always like to say Philly at best anyways. It sounds a lot tougher.
Yeah.
It's weird though. I mean, I was born and raised here, but I moved back and forth from Pakistan a lot during my childhood.
Okay.
So like, my childhood was like a mixture of like, both places really.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through that a little bit. You said you were born in New York.
Yeah, born in New York.
And when was the move to Philly?
The move to Philly was probably about like 6 months after I was born.
Okay, so you don't even remember it.
Yeah, so I'm not really new. I'm more Philadelphian.
Yeah, exactly.
More Philly at heart, man. Eagles, man. I'm wearing an Eagles jacket right now.
Yeah. And so how long were you in Philly?
We're in Philly for a little bit. I mean, so if you want to count like, not going back and forth from Pakistan.
Yeah.
I mean, add all that together, probably a couple of years. At least until I was like 6 or 7.
Okay, so your formative years.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we came down here. But that was like, all right, so we went to Pakistan for, like, the last time I went to Pakistan was for like 2 years. I was like 7 years old.
Right.
So that was the last time I was up in Philly. And afterwards we moved down here to South Florida when I came back from Pakistan.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say is your favorite of all places?
Definitely not Pakistan, that's for sure.
Right.
It has to be here because honestly, like when I was younger, I mean, I don't really remember much of like Morrisville,
Yeah.
a lot, but it was definitely here because a lot more fun right now. I gained a lot more friends here.
Of course.
Most of my experiences will be here. So
It's a way bigger melting pot here too.
Yeah, and you definitely and so you get a lot more perspective. A lot more opportunities in any way really.
Yeah.
I did move back to Philly briefly when I was about like 20.
Okay.
It was fun. I loved it. I loved Philly, but it was
Were you a comic at this time?
Nah, this was like 2 years ago actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I had moved there for like about like 2 weeks for like some political opportunities. I wanted to be a politician before all of this.
Really?
Actually. Yeah.
That is so interesting to me.
Yeah, so it was weird. I actually even worked down here with like with a candidate out of Weston.
Okay.
Kevin Moo. I'm not sure if you.
I don't know.
Small
I barely
town.
know any politics at all. I just find that really interesting.
That's kind of why we lost too. So
I know.
so you're good.
I mean, you lost because of me. I doubt it.
Right? Yeah. Blame it on you, man. No, you're good. You're not even in the district, too. But it's weird though. Like we were second. We did a lot. He was a no name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we were going up against this candidate. I forgot her name, but like she was. I think she was like a incumbent.
Yeah.
So we were already like battling uphill, and it was just a very grassroots campaign. And I mean, came in second of all places. We got shy of like maybe like 40 votes or something like that, I think.
Just
40
out of
votes, yeah.
Just out of curiosity, what did you do? Like, what did your job entail?
I was an aide to the campaign manager.
And what does that mean?
So like anything that campaign manager needed, I was kind of like an assistant to him, you know.
Sure.
So like helped out with like flyers. I helped out with like just going door to door. We helped with strategizing, like meetings and stuff like that, coming up with like ways to like spend resources, planning events, fundraisers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because while you're saying that, I started thinking, I'm sure most politics, but politics is basically just a marketing campaign, right?
Oh my God, it's crazy.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you would know.
and like what your marketing is obviously like the policies that you're going for, and it's really just about like, oh, okay. So one of the things that he highlighted was the fact that like up in Weston, there's a lot of like bicyclists.
Yeah.
I think I'm using that term right, bicyclists. And he was talking about how it's a big issue, and that's one of the things he's going to use as his like not like a main part of his just like his list of things that he wants to work on. But he was like, obviously it's going to be a big issue. It's going to hit home to like a lot of voters, and he thought that was one of his ways to like get in. And
Right.
so he was marketing that, and so just kind of knowing your voters, knowing where you're at.
Right. Yeah, of course. That's
So it's funny how they switch in. So like you got a lot of people from business going into politics, and vice versa.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, even being on Instagram is starting a business now.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. That shit is
Because
crazy.
it's like, how in the world can I get this butt making money?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
So everybody's becoming entrepreneurs, sort of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of kid would you say that you were in school?
I was a cross between like the quiet kid, but imagine Ferris Bueller if he only talked a couple of times. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like that, basically. Like I was friends with everybody, but I was also pretty quiet and like kept to myself.
Yeah.
I
I was very similar.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like you were just like you didn't, because like I grew up in like rough neighborhoods, so like I learned to always just keep your head down, try not to
Yeah.
fuck with anybody. You
Yeah,
know
I
what
get that.
And then like I would always like like whenever I got the chance though, I would always try and crack jokes, just to alleviate the situation,
Of course.
and then that was I didn't really even realize it then though, but I always just loved humor, and that was kind of what made me.
Well, that's why we do this show.
Yeah, exactly.
Is so that way we can kind of see the connection as to who we are now.
Yeah, and then, like but like that's like what made me like be able to like transverse with like all the different group types, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than just like sticking with one crowd or something.
Exactly.
And,
Did you ever do anything on stage or were you did you do any acting or anything,
Nah,
or
so-
just like you were just like the funny kid in school?
I wasn't even like the funniest kid in school.
Sure.
I was just like funny.
Neither was I.
Yeah, exactly. But
like kids that went to high school with me would be shocked that I'm a comedian.
yeah, exactly. But I think I had like no prior experience. The only time I was on stage beforehand was probably when I was in a play, and I was maybe 6, and that was in Pakistan.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So,
And what did you do?
I don't even remember.
It's a very memorable moment.
Right? I was probably on stage for like 5 seconds before I realized,
Yeah.
they want me off the stage.
No, that's crazy. So what were like the beginning fandoms for you when you were a kid? So like what were the things that you liked and loved and started inspiring you?
I was like a mainstream fandom type of deal. So I love, so I love like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Initial D. I'm not sure if you know about the
I don't know.
What
What is that?
I'm like really into cars,
Okay.
and so this was like an anime about like this one racer in Japan, and he had a AE86, a Hachiroku, and this is basically a Corolla now, but anyways,
That's funny.
he used that car and he basically battled all of these like racing groups, you know what I mean, these car
Yeah.
clubs throughout Japan, and he ended up becoming like one of the top racers.
Wow.
It's kind of like built on a true story almost.
So it's like Speed Racer meets Yu-Gi-Oh?
I've never heard it described that way, but yeah, basically, because this dude, he would get into the car and that's when he became Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, man, he switched up, and it was crazy. Like I love that show to death, man.
That's awesome. I've never heard of it.
It's on Hulu, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. I'm definitely going to take a look at that.
It's good.
For sure. I definitely remember the Dragon Ball Z hype, for sure.
Oh, my God. I kid you not, man. When I was a kid, every kid did this, but I would put my hair up, act like I was Goku, you know what I mean?
Oh, dude, first of all, that was my hairstyle.
Oh, my, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't because my hair would go try to put gel or something.
Yeah.
But, when I first saw Goku go Super Saiyan,
yeah,
I swear, tears came to my eyes, man. That was such an epic moment. You know what I mean? You saw him just struggling, becoming blonde and then going back, blonde and then going back.
That's awesome, man. I love it. What about movies and things like that? Were you into stuff like that?
A huge movie fanatic, especially older movies.
Oh yeah, like what?
So I think the oldest movie I watched was
It's like a guy walks. That's it.
Right.
That's the oldest movie I've ever seen.
So
that's the whole movie. It's just a guy walking.
It's 1920. It's the first movie, actually. It's 15 seconds.
Exactly.
But no, all right. So the oldest movie was called The Man from Earth.
The Man from Earth. What is that about?
It was made in 90s, I think. So that's my version of oldest movie.
I was assuming it was a 1920s movie. The Man from Earth. I legitimately thought it's about one man from Earth.
But so almost. So what it was is this dude. He was literally a caveman, right? But he was immortal. He went through all the he went through all of time on Earth, basically. He was a caveman and he developed into a regular human, know, and he was going through all the time, and then what he does is he keeps moving from one place to the next because eventually he doesn't age. So after 10 years, people realize why hasn't this dude aged? And so he has to keep moving. And the best thing about this movie, and you have to be a real movie fanatic.
Yeah.
And really into script writing.
Of course.
Not script, but just overall dialogue, because that is all it is. It's all dialogue.
Sure.
They're in a room for an hour and some minutes, and they're just talking about this whole thing and how he's explaining he's the man from Earth. And you would think okay, he'll probably give up he'll probably give some crazy no, I'm not even gonna spoil it. You gotta watch the movie. It's really crazy how he explains everything, and you're okay, these are plausible answers to everything.
I like dialogue heavy movies, man.
This is all dialogue, dude.
Well, Kevin Smith is very dialogue heavy.
Yeah. Oh, Clerks was amazing.
Clerks only has 2 locations. It's a very basic movie that is shot in one shot.
You want to talk about comedy genius just in general, man. That's crazy, man. And how he's able to get everything so down to life, down to earth type of, you know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah,
especially
absolutely.
in the dialogue, how everybody would actually talk and react.
Yeah, of course. That's the reason why it's so good.
Yeah.
I think.
I can assure you we're open.
Yeah. Another movie too that it's getting a little bit more popular now. People are taking scenes from it and putting it on Facebook. But it's My Dinner with Andre, which it's a very, very dialogue heavy movie. The plot is the title of the movie. And it is literally just a dinner. That is all the movie is. But this dude, this movie was made in the 70s or something, and this dude predicts everything. He predicts social media. He predicts.
How did he predict social media?
So essentially, he predicted it in a super vague way. He wasn't there's going to be this thing called Facebook. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
But he said something about how there's going to be a way for us all to be connected with the entire world, but we're going to be so completely apart from each other.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is so true on so many levels.
It wasn't the internet made in the 80s or something like that?
Yeah, technically.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that's even before the internet. So that's that's really
back when Al Gore invented the internet, yeah. You'd get that joke. You're politics. That's all I know about politics is that Al Gore says he invented the internet, and he also said that a zebra never changes its spots. So he doesn't know much. But anyway, so
I
what?
think Al Gore would have done really well in today's time, though. Really,
probably.
Just the whole environmentalist thing that he was on too.
I mean, I think, he is the environmentalist guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the guy that they make fun of on South Park all the time.
I think so.
It's
been a while.
I'm
since I watched
super
South Park.
serial. Pretty sure that's Al Gore. But so, what other movies were you into?
Oh, apparently when I was young, my favorite all-time movie was Jurassic Park.
Sure.
So like and especially like in Pakistan, like what I would do is like, because there isn't cable or anything, you know,
Yeah.
so we just had movies, and so I would just watch this movie like 3 times a day, and I'd watch in the morning with breakfast, I'd watch in the afternoon with lunch, and I'd watch at night with dinner, and I would just do that. Now, you know, it was like OCD almost.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's
but
crazy.
I love the movie though, man.
Of course,
and
yeah.
it was. So I guess that was one of the older movies. There was only a few actually, like with the Fast and Furious, up until like
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift. That was about it.
Really?
Yeah.
You only like the first two?
And then Tokyo Drift, but like past that, it just
Okay.
got way too crazy, and it just became about like bank heists and stuff like that. And I
For
was-
me, well, it's more than just bank
Yeah,
heists.
it's
Like now
just
they
like-
work for the government. It's like, it
Yeah.
like, doesn't make any sense.
yeah, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like they weren't they like street racing like 3 movies ago?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, not only that, in the 9th movie, it's
ninth movie.
dude, it's almost like the writer is hired just to remind the audience that there's cars in the movie.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
like like why are there even cars here?
Yeah, like at a certain point, man. Like because it got because I love the older cars that they had. Like I'm a huge,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
dude.
a huge like JDM guy, like old like '90s cars. You know what I mean? With,
Yeah.
like the Hondas and stuff. They had like Lambos and Ferraris. I'm like, I can't afford any of that, dude.
Well,
Like,
what
you're-
was so cool about the first Fast and Furious is that it showed you that you could take a normal Nissan
yeah.
and soup it up and make it a fast car.
Yo, yeah, I'm telling you, that it was. He had the Mitsubishi Eclipse, right?
Yes,
GT.
that Eclipse was gorgeous.
Oh my god, it was. And then like I was always trying to figure out like why he like spun out and stuff. And then, like as I got older and like learned more about cars and
Mm-hmm.
just that movie became more interesting to me, you know. And especially like just like they really delved into like, you know, the illegal street racing life.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was nice to see. Nice to see that. And then from what it became, it was crazy.
It's
man.
so funny because that's not even a hint of what the movie's
Yeah.
about anymore.
And I'm just I stopped watching a long time ago.
Yeah, I tried watching the newest one because my parents are like really into it. And I was out at this one scene. I think it was Fate of the Furious, or F8 of the Furious, and Vin Diesel was in his car and he was talking to Michelle Rodriguez, who was in
She's so cute, by the way.
in a different car, right? Their windows rolled down. Apparently they must be going the same speed. And they're just talking to each other.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
They're not even trying at that point. They just gave up and were like, this is how the scene's gonna go.
Yeah.
And the actors probably they didn't even question it too. like that went through so many people's heads, you know, like, and everyone was just okay with it.
That's the thing that is so funny to me. It's like you really need to use the suspension of disbelief for a lot of that movie. You know, like one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time is Home Alone. And
really good movie.
That movie is so suspension of disbelief because, like,
Joe Pesci, man, he is. My Cousin Vinny is another old one.
oh, dude, My Cousin
All
Vinny's great.
I'm sorry, I'm forgetting some of the movies, but they're all
No,
coming
you're
up
good.
as. But My Cousin Vinny was amazing. Yeah, you know what I found out?
What?
My Cousin Vinny was one of the movies where like actual lawyers would use that as like they'd use it as like training almost.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because the way he would go about it, and like especially like the ways they would talk about, you know, there's a specific scene where they talk about the tire tread in the Mustang.
Yeah.
I think it was a Mustang, but like they would talk about the tire tread, and they'll talk about how, you know, like this model came with this type of stock tire tread, you know, and they're either way, like it was just crazy, like.
That's insane.
But yeah, like that, and then Joe Pesci, man. Do you want to talk about like just amazing actors, dude?
Oh, I love it.
He
Yeah.
is hilarious.
He's so good, man. And I mean, I just finished watching The Movies That Made Us. It's this documentary series on Netflix about movies. And one of them is about Home Alone, which if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's very, very great. And they dive into a lot of really cool things that you didn't know about that movie. One of them that made me laugh really hard was about how Joe Pesci didn't feel like he was doing anything if he wasn't swearing. And he was in a family movie, so he couldn't swear. Like, that's kind of the whole thing. And there's like a kid, like you can't like curse out a little kid,
Yeah.
you know? And so he invented that whole like he literally invented that just so he could be like, oh, like I'm like swearing kind of, you know. And he invented that whole thing just because of that.
I remember the scene where he like grabbed the hot doorknob.
Yes. Dude, what's so good too is you know, in the second one there's a callback to that, which is really great. When Kevin jumps off of a loading dock and Joe Pesci catches him, zooms into his hand, which still has the burn.
Wait, that's not when he's in New York, right?
Yeah,
that's it. Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, that's with that pigeon guy or whatever, right?
Yeah, with Pigeon Woman.
Pigeon Woman.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It's the same, man. Oh my gosh, that movie's so funny.
It's such a good family movie.
Yeah, well,
one of the best family movies. Yeah, really.
What's really great is there was somebody that said this, which is, it's so funny, man. Because like technically, in the real world, he would have murdered these people. Like this kid would have murdered these people,
especially in Florida, Sandy
exactly. So in the first movie, they were like, they basically thought it would be funny to like legally, like, would this kid be able to like not go to jail for killing people, you know? And technically, in the first one, he would completely be fine because he's in his own house. Yeah. But in the second one, he goes to a stranger's house. It's not a stranger, but it's like his aunt's house or whatever that's still being renovated. Yeah. Right? It's technically not his house, so he would have gone to jail, you know, which is like insane. But yeah, there's so much in Home Alone where you have to suspend your disbelief. Like something that I never considered until I saw this video where somebody was talking about it. They go through a lot to explain how they could forget this kid. Yeah. And how this kid didn't show up to the airport. The power goes out. The alarm doesn't work. I mean, all these different things. And the funniest one to me was that there's 15 people in the house and all of them are running around. How in the world does the kid not hear them?
Right? Yeah. He's a heavy sleeper, man. Like, I'm telling you.
Like, how do you not hear 15 people walking around the house, like, scrummaging around, like, we got to get our stuff, we got to go. Yeah. Like, how do you not hear that?
Like, especially, like, how they wake up yelling, we missed the plane or something like that, you know?
Exactly.
Like, that would not fly, like, my apartment right now. Especially, it's like you know, 2-bedroom apartment. So sure. I would hear everything. But still, like, you would hear even them yelling, you would have heard that right away.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, in any house, you would have heard it. Just to go into our next bit, what kind of toys or like action figures do you remember when you were a kid?
I used to love these Star Wars action figures that we used to get them at Walmart. And one of the things that I didn't even use them for their intended purpose. I used to use them as football players.
Really?
I kid you not.
That's so interesting.
I use them as football players and as wrestlers. I only because
I always use them as wrestlers.
Yeah, so I was all right. I honestly thought I was the only one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Not football players, but wrestlers all the time.
Dude, it was always
like Ultimate Warrior versus Darth Vader,
right? Just crazy scenarios and stuff like that, fighting in the Death Star or something.
Yeah.
But like, I would have them do like crazy catches too when they're football players. But like, I would because. The main reason I didn't use them as like, you know, the actual like, you know, stormtroopers or anything like that was because like, you know, the lightsabers and like the guns that they had, they would break or like they were so feeble and like their fingers, you know, like they had that small little hole so you couldn't really stick it in and you would do it to be at a weird angle. And I'm all about realism.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I was just like, you know what, screw it, man. And then like one day I just had them like fight each other. I was like, this is way funner.
Yeah, of course. That's so awesome. So you were into like the Star Wars toys. What other...
I had I wouldn't say like actual like RC cars, but we had like a lot of these little like model cars almost, you know what I mean? And like those cars I would just like to collect. I had this like, you know, 2JZ Supra. It was like a 96 Supra. Uh-huh. One of my dream cars, you know.
So I had this I think I still have it. This RC car where the whole gimmick was that you could flip it.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, dude.
The commercial, they'd have it go up against the wall and it would go back.
It was the coolest thing ever, dude. I loved that
You
thing.
were rich, weren't you, bro? Oh, my God.
I wasn't. I lived in Hialeah for a long time.
Oh, okay, so you were, yeah.
I mean, we live in a very, very nice house now, and I understand
this looks like a place I robbed one time, bro, so it's nice.
I understand my white privilege now, but...
Wait, you're white?
No, I'm not.
Okay, I was about to say.
But you have to say what it is. Like, it still is white privilege. You know, even though I'm
You live
not
in
white at all.
white privilege.
Even though I'm not white at all.
You get to a certain tax bracket, it's white privilege.
Exactly. Yeah, your ethnicity changes. Regardless of your name, your ethnicity, or where you came from, your race changes, and you are just white. But anyway, yeah, so I remember that thing. I mean, we're talking about commercials and stuff, so like what other toy commercials stand out in your craw?
Toy commercials? I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Very sparingly.
Yeah.
Very sparingly. I only did it because, like, you know, everybody was doing it at the time. But, like, they had this thing that would go on your arm, and you would put your deck on it, like the actual thing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Played with.
Right.
I'm not sure. I forgot what it was called.
I don't remember what that's called either, but I do remember this.
You know what I mean, though?
Yes.
And then, like, you know, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually had it, and he would bring it out, and the card would come out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yo, I saw that commercial, and I begged my mom for like two months, maybe. And I was like, I want this so bad. And we could never get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anything that was like $30 or more, my mom was
Sure.
like, no, this ain't happening.
Yeah, I get that, man. That was majority of my childhood.
But yeah, I love those things. And like, at one point, actually, I was able to get, I don't know why, I never used toys for their intended purpose because I got it. And then I ended up using it as like, I don't know what, but like I would just use it as like a stealth thing or something. I'd pretend like I would use it as like a hook that I could go on top of buildings and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I was
so funny.
Yeah, and I was just like, I was like, why did I want to play Yu-Gi-Oh with this shit? Everything else is so much funner.
That's hilarious. I love that. Were you a cereal guy growing up?
I was really into like maybe for like what I would do is like I would tell my mom to get like this chocolate cereal, right?
Oh, yeah?
She would get it, and then like for like 2 days I would eat it, and then I'd stop eating it. So
Yeah,
like, that's usually what happened.
You know what's funny? I feel like I was very similar as well, because like the greatest hits at my house were always regular Cheerios, Kix, and every now and again, you know, I'd beg my mom for the cartoon on the box cereal, you know, which was like the Trix or the, you know, the thing that had the cartoon on the box, you know.
What was the one? It was like it was the chocolate Rice Krispies. I'm not sure if you remember.
Yeah, Cocoa Krispies.
Cocoa Krispies.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
used to have a mascot. They don't anymore, but they used to have this like bear or whatever. He was like a
It was those,
it was a bear in the jungle, and he would swing from vine to vine, and he would sing this song called "Cocoa Krispies." Like it's still in my craw. Like I don't understand. I don't know why, but it's still in my craw. Like I still remember all of these stupid commercials. Anyway, one of the things that we love to do on this podcast is we like to review cereal. And I usually like to get a cereal that has something to do with my guest in some way, shape, or form.
okay.
So I spoke with my sponsors over at General Mills. Now, by sponsor, I mean that I like them and I buy all their products. And by spoke to, I mean I tweeted them repeatedly and they didn't get back to me. So the cereal I got for you, Dean,
I am excited.
is Star Wars cereal.
What?
Yeah.
How crazy is that, right?
Isn't that crazy?
That's good. All right.
Or for you, football cereal.
Perfect. I love it.
And what's great is BB-8's on the box,
Right.
and in many countries, he's considered a football.
So this is perfect, man.
Yeah.
This is perfect for me.
This is the Rise of Skywalker edition of the Star Wars cereal. It looks delicious. It's got little marshmallows that are shaped like stormtroopers and lightsabers, and
I'm gonna use them for wrestling too, man.
yeah, you can use them for wrestling. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to pour some into my Reptar cereal bowl, and I will make sure to mic it so all of the ASMR weirdos can loop it and make it their ringtone.
Yo, I've been hearing about that. I haven't like, I don't have the audio equipment to like enjoy it. But like, I've been very curious about, you know.
Yeah, I don't have the brain capacity or the ears to be able to enjoy it.
So that's the thing. I got big ears, so I don't think I need the headphones.
I doubt you. I doubt you'd be into it. It's yeah. Let's see here.
Oh, dude, that looks good, bro. My mouth is actually watering right now.
The marshmallow quantity is very, very small.
Oh, don't skimp out on me with the marshmallow.
Yeah, they skimped down on this box. So I'm trying to make sure that we get some so we can get a full bite. But what's cool is that the grains, little TIE fighters. So that's kind of cool.
I'm definitely playing with
that. That is kind of cool. Yeah. So it would be fun to review this cereal. But what I think would be more fun is to review this cereal as a character from Star Wars.
Oh boy.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some Star Wars music for you.
Okay.
And whenever you're ready, I would like for you to review this cereal as a character from Star Wars. It could be any character, or it could be a character that doesn't exist but is in the Star Wars universe. You just have to remind us that we're in the Star Wars universe, I guess.
I suck at improv, but let's see what happens.
That's okay. He could be a football player from Star Wars.
Okay.
Why not? Why not?
For me?
This is all about imagination. Whenever you're ready, dude.
How's everybody doing? I'm Joe Namath the 32nd, and I'm over here to review the Star Wars cereal.
Oh no!
I gotta tell you. That's the crunchy bite of a Super Bowl champion.
What?
That's amazing. You can hear the championship ring in every bite. Go Eagles.
Oh my God.
All right, that's about the best you're going to get out of me.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. Joe Namath, ladies and gentlemen. Joe Namath, if he was in the Star Wars universe.
Joe Namath 32nd, so his future Joe Namath's son.
Okay.
So I did like 31 generations.
Man, one of my favorite jokes that Family Guy ever did when they were making fun of those Star Wars movies was how in the beginning, the crawl, it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, even though it's kind of in the future. Because that's the whole thing. It's like, it's supposed to be a long time ago, but everything's in the future. So, like, what are we doing?
Right? Yeah, that just completely discredited Joe Namath the 32nd. Oh, shit. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It works.
Yeah. Have you seen the new Star Wars movies? Are you a Star Wars movie fan?
I am. I love, but like, here's the thing. So I'm waiting still. Cause like I waited up and I watched up in like the 7th one. I had to. But like, I'm waiting for the other ones. Cause like one of my cousins, he's coming back and he's a Star Wars fan too. So like, we're going to kind of like watch it together.
So the last one you saw was The Force Awakens.
Yeah. Okay. But it was like when it came out though.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah. It's a good one. I enjoy it a lot. There's a lot of Star Wars fans that didn't like it.
I just like the whole universe, so give me more. You know what I mean? That's why I love The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. The Mandalorian is one of the best things that they've done in the Star Wars universe.
So good.
It's so good, man. Good. I love it. And I mean,
I haven't watched the latest episode. I'm sleeping.
I haven't either, but it's so great how when you take it into consideration, the things that Jon Favreau has done.
He is a good director.
Right. So, like, for example, a lot of people don't know this, but he directed Elf. So
I did not know that.
His first Christmas movie he ever did became an instant classic. And then he directed Iron Man, which is the movie that changed movies.
It was
for us right now.
It was one of the ones to like actually like begin like the Marvel franchise. Really.
Yeah. Well, Iron Man is the movie that created a world where most of what we see now is a superhero movie.
Yeah.
Because even we were talking about it beforehand. Fast and the Furious is a superhero movie.
They're doing crazy freaking things.
Yeah, there is no way anyone would survive any of the things they do.
You're totally right. Holy snap, you're right about that.
It 100% is a superhero.
Yo, this is such an epiphany right now.
Yeah.
Every movie is like, yo, what's that like?
Everything. Almost everything. Somebody said it on a podcast, and I forget where I heard it, but it's so true. Like,
I don't know
superhero movies are like our wests now.
I don't know if you just destroyed my world or made it better, but
I probably like, a little bit of both, probably. A little bit of both, but technically everything everything is a superhero movie now, or it has to have the superhero format.
Yeah, because it has to have a hero, doing like something really crazy.
Yeah, and it has to have a franchise.
Yeah,
it has to. There has to be reasons to keep coming back. Yeah. So I want to talk about kind of what you're doing now and things like that. You're a stand-up comedian. How long ago did you start?
I started in 2018 of June. So
okay,
a little over a year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What inspired you to start doing it?
Even before politics, I always loved comedy. You know what I mean? It was always a thing. So like after like 2 years ago, when I had moved to Philly, like my mom, she was sick, and so she was ailing, and unfortunately she passed away.
Yeah.
And at that point,
sorry about that.
Anyway, I had to move back down here just to help out like my dad and stuff. And at that point, my car had gotten stolen too. At this time,
gosh,
my Integra, and so. At this point, everything was kind of, and I left everything, you know what I mean? And I don't know how, but I found this open mic at Marina 84. Shout out to Marina, shout out to Cal. Anyways, I go there and I get on stage and it was a thing because like I didn't want to do anything, but when I saw this open mic, and I don't know why, but it was the only thing where I was like, all right, let me just do this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And haven't looked back since.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
And you got the bug immediately then.
Oh man, fuck bug, bro. That's an addiction.
Right.
Yeah.
It basically is. Yeah. That's so crazy, man. And so who were you watching before you started? That inspired you? Because there had to have been a moment where you were like, I can probably try this or I want to do this.
There were two comedians, Dove Davidoff and Kirk Fox.
Okay.
Kirk Fox. Yeah.
That's so funny because they're very...
No, they're not that mainstream.
Right, but they're also polar opposites.
Yeah.
So, like, because Dove Davidoff, I would say...
I'm surprised you actually even know them, too.
...is kind of an alt comic.
Yeah, and
right?
one of the reasons why I loved his comedy was the way he delivered and the way he was like...
Oh, yeah, he's great.
And it was just... I was just like... Even he could say regular things and I would just start laughing, you know?
Yeah, that is
and like
very
the
true.
emphasis, and like I love their Johnny or something like that. I'm doing a terrible impression. I'm not giving it any
he's a New York guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he is. The only time I saw it was in like Comedy Central, and this was like when I was a younger kid, But like,
okay.
But these were like the first people that I saw doing stand up, and so this is what kind of like sparked that whole like I'm gonna be funny, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm gonna just use humor, and
Kirk Fox, you said?
Kirk Fox. I loved his laid back demeanor, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's always just laid back, and he has an arm crossed or something like that, and he's just talking.
He's very like, I mean, he
uses his words to make you laugh.
Yes, there is that for sure. And he also makes fun of his demeanor in a lot of ways. Like he knows he looks like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
The mustache and everything
Yes.
he does, man. He's got it on point, man.
So when I was in LA, this is kind of the reason why I know so many comedians.
Good.
But also because I'm a complete nerd for comedy. Like I love comedy so much. I could care less what it is as long as it makes me laugh. I love it.
It helps your foundation, bro. If that's
exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's just what I nerd out about. Even before I was a stand-up, that's all I cared about was stand-up comedy. And so I moved out to LA, never with the intention of becoming a stand-up comic. I became a stand-up comic because I was told to take an improv class and I didn't have money to do it. So I did stand-up because it was free. That's literally the only reason why I started stand-up.
That is the perfect way to start stand-up comedy. If there was ever a perfect way, that is the one. You didn't have money to do what you actually wanted.
Yeah.
You were too broke.
Yeah. So I just went to an open mic. Yeah. And I started doing stand-up. I was like, well, I'll be improvising on stage. Like that was
you literally improvised your life right there.
Yeah, that was my thought. Yeah, that was my thought. I was like, well, I'll be improvising on stage because I don't know what I'm going to say. Like that kind of thing. Even though, having taken improv afterwards and things like that, like they're completely different things. But even still, like that was kind of like my thought process.
That's good though.
So yeah, and one of the places that I went to it's this place in LA. God, I forget the name of it, but you would pay $5 essentially, and you could do 10 minutes. It was a 10-minute like open mic, and it was, the reason why it was so good was because this is another thing that if you're listening and you're a comic from South Florida, something that you don't realize unless you've been to other places like New York or LA, comedy costs money.
Yeah, we're spoiled down here.
Yeah, we're very spoiled. So an open mic costs money when you go to LA. Like, it's not just gas money. It also costs $5 for 3 minutes, like that kind of thing. And
3 minutes, not 5 minutes, bro.
Yeah,
people will be like 5 minutes, like, yo, that's luxury time, man. When you like compare to like where other places go.
Well, I'm telling you, dude. And I never realized what a luxury, for example, like this place that I went to, it was such a luxury to be able to pay $5 and you did 10 minutes, because it's just like 10 uninterrupted. Like, I can just do this, because at this point as an open micer, when I had been doing it, unless, and towards the end of my time that I was there, I started becoming someone who was showcasing, and I got more time and things like that.
When did you start getting into comedy, actually?
I became a stand-up comic in 2015.
Oh, damn.
So
you got way more. Okay.
Yeah. So December, I know it was December, and a friend of mine was doing a show, and he was like, "Hey man, you're funny. Do you do stand up?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I've never done stand up. And he was like, "All right, man, I'll give you 10 minutes." And I was like, "Cool." And it was like right after that moment, right after those couple of weeks that I had been told that I needed to by a manager that I needed to take improv classes. And she wasn't like, she was actually open for me to do stand up. Like, she was like, "I just want you to get on stage and like sharpen your blade. Like, I just want you to keep sharpening your skills as a comedian and as an actor." Because I went out to be an actor. Like, that's why, that's technically my main job. Like, that's basically what I do. And
you can transition between the two.
Of course. Yeah. Well, the thing about performing, it's like, I always say this on this podcast, but performing is like a 20-sided die. It's all the same die. At least for me, like, I'm always the same person, so it's like, this is my comedy side, this is my musical side, because I'm also a singer-songwriter. So like, this is my singer-songwriter side, this is my acting side, but it's all the same guy, like that kind of thing. And especially now in 2020, you need to be good at more than one thing in order for people to like listen or care. In the world of like where Donald Glover is famous.
That was one of my goals, man, to be like Gambino.
Yeah.
Man, because like, he went into like comedy, then music, and then he created Atlanta, I think.
Dude, 100%. Anyone who's listened to every single episode of this is going to be rolling their eyes, because I'm telling you, I try every single episode to not talk about him, and I can't. I talk about him every episode because he's my favorite person. Like, he just is.
He's an uber talented person.
I love Donald Glover, man.
That's my goal, but like little less on the music side. I freestyle a little bit.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Like, that's what I want to do. You know what I
Don't
mean?
we all?
Right? Exactly. Don't we all, man?
Don't we all have a SoundCloud with a mixtape?
Exactly. Aren't we all just like SoundCloud rappers?
Yeah,
really?
we all kind of are. But yeah.
But like, you're right. You definitely gotta be like, you gotta be like multifaceted.
Yeah.
When it comes to like how you sell yourself.
Yeah. Either that, or you need to be exponentially good at the one thing that you're good at. Like, for example, like, I don't care that Leonardo DiCaprio doesn't have an album or a stand-up special. He's a good enough actor for me to not care.
Aviator was amazing.
Yeah, like, he's a very good actor. In fact, he's such a good actor that if he did come out with a stand-up special or something, I'd be like, what? This is really weird.
Yeah, that's stick to your lane, bro.
Exactly, like that kind of thing. To where it's like, with Donald, I like that he's good at everything. Like, that's why I like him. Is because he's good at everything.
He puts effort into little details too.
Exactly. Yes.
It's little details, and then when you get that, people pick up, and it just makes it so much more better.
Yeah, I'm way more into that, and at least for me. But anyway, that's where I started, and
I cannot stop eating the cereal.
that's okay. That's okay. So you started at an open mic, and how immediate was the next thing?
About like 6 months later, like that's when
Really?
Yeah, because now I'm starting to now I host regularly a Shift Records comedy show, which is picking up really well too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hosting an all arts open mic at Coffee District every Saturday.
Nice.
So every week now I'm like I got those weekly gigs, and that came like was it 8 months in?
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird because I didn't like hosting in the beginning too.
Sure.
I didn't really want to, but like as soon as I did it, and like that was the next big opportunity, the hosting, and like as soon as I did it, and as soon as I ran with it, oh man, I was off to the races. I just loved it.
Dude, the thing about hosting is it's one of the harder jobs.
I love it with a passion.
Oh, don't get me wrong. It's great. It's super fun. I've hosted at the Miami Improv. It's super fun. But after hosting for the Miami Improv, I quickly realized, this job is very easy to get pigeonholed to. Because if you're good at hosting, people will always ask you to host and never ask you to feature or headline. Okay. They're always like, no, he's too good of a host.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I'm still trying to grow as a comic too, but like, I found that like, you're right about like, you know, but like, I think, what has it happened to you yet? I don't think that hasn't.
It hasn't happened to me yet, but I saw how it could happen.
Okay. Because like, I mean, like when I think about that, like I feel like because I usually when people like approach, like if you end up like asking for a spot, or like someone asks you for a spot, you know what I mean, and you say like, oh, I want to be a feature or a headliner or whatever, you know what I mean, however it goes, you know, I wouldn't think that they would switch it back and be like, no, I want you to host, you know, right. Would they do that? No, that would suck though, because I'm stopping hosting immediately.
No, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't. Usually people wouldn't.
You would just get more opportunities as a host rather than featuring or
right. Okay. Exactly.
All right. That's all right.
That's more what it is. Like.
All right. That's okay. I get what you're talking about.
But there's also, I mean, there's at the end of the day, man. There's so many comics that have said this too on podcasts, where it's like your home club is usually the last club to headline you, because they've seen you from the beginning. Yeah. And so that's who they see, not who you are now.
That's true.
So you can literally headline the country, and they'll be like, yeah, I mean, you could host this show. And you're like, what?
Like, come on now. All the work that I put in, but like, I mean, just coming from me, like I still have a lot of work to do before I'm even like a headliner, or even, I mean, I would say like, feature, I would say I could probably like feature. I'm a really great opener. Yeah. I know that for a fact.
I definitely, one thing that I can say, I've only seen you twice, so I haven't seen you a bunch, but one thing that I can say about Dean is that he's a great host, an amazing host. It makes plenty of sense as to why you're hosting so many shows, because you're very good at it. And clearly, if you can host, that means that you're a solid opener as well. Yeah. You know,
that's what's helped me. Like when you're talking about like that's best thing, and hosting gives you a lot of opportunities.
Of course, like, you've been hosting for a long time, so you're probably comfortable. The easiest metaphor to give you is hosting a comedy show is literally like hosting a dinner, where it is your job to make sure that all of the guests are happy, attentive, they're doing their thing, and if you're funny, cool, but 90% of the time, they don't even realize you're a comic. You know what I mean?
You are so spot on.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's what it is. So most of your job is just like, guys, you're not going to believe the next guy that's going to be here. He's so freaking funny.
You're totally right. And just like keeping everybody entertained throughout the entire time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that a host can't be funny.
No, you're perfect. Like if you're funny, perfect.
Exactly. They just weren't expecting you to be funny. Yeah, like that's literally what it is.
You just gotta be really good at keeping that energy.
Yeah.
That's the one weird thing, because like it's like before I was a kid that kept to myself though, you know what I mean? But I make jokes here and there and stuff like that. So I never really had high energy. I was never really the biggest social butterfly. Yeah. But like it's just weird how like, hosting switches over and your personality changes.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, absolutely. So having done a whole bunch of like different shows and hosting as much as you've been, what are some war stories? Tell me some crazy stories from being on stage.
I think when I was performing at Cricket's Comedy Club.
Okay. Cricket's Comedy Club?
Yeah, right. Perfect name for it.
What the heck?
But it's with Cricket. He used to run the Catskills Comedy Club.
Oh, the guy's name is Cricket.
Yeah, so
okay.
he named
That's
it.
a lot better than what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That reminds me
yeah.
I'm going to cut you off for a second.
Go for
that
it.
reminds me, it doesn't exist there anymore, sadly, but my home, I would call it my home base in LA, was the Nerd Melt showroom. It's the where they would shoot Meltdown with Jonah and Kumail and places like that. It was a where they would do Harmontown, all that stuff. It was like an alternative comedy like showcase room, essentially. They had open mics, they had comedy shows, they had podcast tapings. I mean, it was great. If I wasn't performing, I was just there hanging out because I just wanted to get to know people.
It was like a cool spot.
It was a really, really awesome spot. And what was so great about that place is that place had what was known as the Nerd Melt Cricket. And so it was a cricket that was, I guess, beneath the stage or something, and there was no way for them to get it out.
Oh,
so,
don't tell me.
And so what was so funny, it was like this joke where like that all the comics would always say is like, you know, you're doing poorly when the Nerd Melt Cricket
Okay.
is like when you can hear the Nerd Melt Cricket.
Yeah, I thought you were about to say you could actually hear the cricket though.
You could. When you were bombing, you could.
Oh my god.
You 100% could.
You would actually hear crickets?
Yes.
Holy shit.
It was a literal cricket. It was awesome. But like, dude, it was awesome though. Like somebody like created a Twitter page for the cricket. Like it was like a thing. Like people like almost liked it when people would bomb because they would hear the cricket.
How'd that stop, man? That's amazing.
Well, all that to say.
Yeah, all that to say.
What's your story about crickets?
This dude had actually passed out during the main show. And it's I guess
a comic or an
like
audience
an audience member had passed out.
Oh my
he was
gosh.
drunk. He was
What?
so drunk he passed out. This is how I know this is a show in Broward because the show still went on.
Yeah.
Like people were like, "Yeah, we're still gonna laugh, right?" Of
course.
Like, I know this dude had like a medical emergency, but we're still telling jokes, right?
That's so crazy.
Yeah, his friends had to carry him out. Yeah,
that's insane.
Oh my god, it was crazy. I mean, I don't think you want to consider that a war story, but Marina 84, for anyone that knows, man, like that was every day was war, or every Tuesday was war there, man.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Just getting people to listen.
Yeah, getting people to pay attention, listen. A comic pulled out one of his balls on stage one time.
Bobby Lee.
Right? Well, like, I mean, his balls did look like Bobby Lee a little bit.
I'm sure his
know.
balls looked like Bobby Lee's full body.
Right?
It was like hosting the Tiger Belly podcast on stage.
Oh my god, that's right. But yeah, there wasn't really a lot of crazy things that happened on stage yet. Mainly, thankfully I haven't come across like a lot of like situations to warrant that. You know what I mean? Thankfully.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone through. Well, it's mostly just because like since I was 13, I've been in bands and things like that. So like I've been in many a situation.
Okay, yeah.
So, and also I grew up in a very like conservative Christian surrounding for majority of my life. So I was in a Christian bubble for a lot of that time. And when I was 13, I was basically a missionary. But I was also
really?
I was, yeah. And I was
Holy
it was just me though. It wasn't like my family. We didn't do like this weird like, family thing. But I toured with this like group of musicians and things like that. And I forget where we were. I can't. We were performing at some park, and this lady was really upset that we were Christians, and she was like a witch or whatever, and she just like made this like weird like stick like voodoo thing, and like just started performing a spell while we were performing.
Oh wait! I don't know if it's because I'm hyped, but like. Yo,
It is a weird story, so it's fine.
I'm confused. She thought she was a witch, or she was
No. She 100%. Well,
Don't tell me she was an actual. You're fucking with me right now.
Because here's the thing, man. Like this is my thing. Like if you tell me you're a witch, like you might believe that, but I think it's bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I just don't believe in that. You know what I mean?
So she told you she was a witch?
Word was going around. She didn't like literally tell me, but like word was going around. Hey, there's this witch that's like really upset with what you guys are doing or whatever. And we were just like,
dude,
who freaking
so
cares?
Weird. Like,
I'm just like, who cares? And so we did, and it was, I'm telling you, dude, it was so freaking weird.
I feel like there's so much more to the story that needs to be told, bro.
God, we were in Texas, I think. Yeah, we were in Texas. And, but yeah, we were on this stage at a park, and this lady who was a witch, she heard that we were missionaries, and she's like, I don't like that, or whatever. And she just started performing a weird spell.
Dude, a witch in Texas bothering a bunch of missionaries.
Yeah, it was super weird. We're just on stage, like, trying to perform music.
I don't think those three combinations have ever been.
It's so weird, right? It's so weird, yeah.
First of all, missionaries in Texas.
Well, we performed everywhere. I mean, it was like we went all over the world, but we also did the U.S.
That was like, we need to go to the one place that needs Christianity the most. Texas.
Yep.
What?
Yep, it's true.
Oh my God. They're not Christian enough down in Texas.
They're not, man. They like their guns too much. They don't like Jesus enough.
Oh my God. That's absolutely perfect, man.
Well, that's like the funny thing. It's like, like I would call my mom or whatever, and she'd be like, oh, where are you? And I'd be like, oh, I'm in South Carolina. And she'd be like, South Carolina doesn't need missionaries.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yo, you went to places like to make your job easier, bro. That's what you did. You gamed the system, bro.
Fair enough.
Yo, Mormons are looking. We had it all wrong. Like
we should do outreach where the Mormons are.
We need to just stay in Utah.
That's hysterical, dude. Oh, yeah, I never even considered it till right now. But it's true. Like I've seen it all. I've seen all kinds of weird stuff. Like, I mean, that's like a really weird story, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember much from it. I just remember like her putting a twig or whatever it was on the stage, and like her kind of dancing and like doing this like weird thing. And we just kicked the stick off.
Was this
the stage? Yeah, we just kept performing.
Just kicked this. Yo,
she like left, and I guess she cried. I don't know what happened.
Y'all missionaries aren't fazed by nothing.
No, I wasn't. At least I didn't freaking care. Like, I was like,
yo, like we got Jesus on our side, man.
I don't
We're
care,
good.
man. Yeah. Well, also like I've been, the way that I am though, like I just don't think something can scare you if you don't believe in it. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's how I got over my fear of the dark.
Yeah, I don't believe in the dark.
The dark doesn't exist to me, yo.
No, man.
It's all light.
It's all light, dog. Yeah. But
like for real, I would tell myself, because like before, like it all started with like when I watched that movie, The Boogeyman.
Yeah, of course.
Like I would get so scared, and like for a while I would just be like terrified. And like I don't know why, but like I had one thought, and I was like, the switch flipped. Mm-hmm. It wasn't
literally
right?
the switch flipped.
Right, exactly.
Like it's only light now.
Right? It's a night light. That's why I'm not afraid no more. But well, all right. So like I told myself, I was all right. Like if something was to happen, it would have already happened by now.
Of course.
That's
100% true. That's very logical.
So I was like, like fuck it. Like why would a demon just come out right now?
Yeah.
Of all times.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'm good now.
Yeah, that's the thing where like I was kind of the same as you for a long time, but with certain things, like, growing up, the thing that I was scared of, like I wasn't scared of witches, I wasn't scared of demons, I wasn't scared of the devil. I was scared of the rapture. So, like, do you know what that is?
The rap, yeah, like.
So, like, it's like when people just like freaking disappear.
Wait,
you know?
do they actually like leave their clothes behind?
I have no idea. I haven't experienced it. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just a folktale right now. I don't know. But I was very afraid of it, you know, because like people will be like, yeah, you're just gonna be gone, and like your clothes are just gonna be on the floor, and like people are gonna be like, where is he? And I was so scared that I would like wake up and be like the only person left in the world, and it'd be like I Am Legend, you know, like just me and my dog.
Your German Shepherd.
Yeah, just me and my dog, and then the dog dies halfway through the freaking movie, and then I've got no one except the mannequins at the freaking CVS.
This podcast just got too real.
I'm telling you. So like, those are the things that I was always afraid of. But
wait, mannequins at a CVS?
That's
what kind of CVS is you going to?
No,
right?
dude. Do you remember? Well, it's because like when in I Am Legend, where he goes to the store and there's mannequins. That's how he talks to people. He talks to mannequins.
I was just picturing like a mannequin at a CVS. Like that'd be.
That is accurate.
Yo, it's only holding like pharmaceuticals too. It doesn't have clothes on. It's just holding like.
It's just a naked like, mannequin holding.
It's just holding like NyQuil and shit. Oh, shit.
That's so good. Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah,
yeah, dude. Oh my God, this has been so fun. Oh man. So where can people find you online?
So like I'm on Instagram at Dean_Rashdi. I'm surprised someone took Dean Rashdi. Like,
really?
Yeah, it was weird, right?
That is kind of weird, huh?
It's probably an old account. I don't remember the password too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's Dean_Rashdi at Instagram, and then just Dean Rashdi on Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't really do a whole lot.
You do though, man. You have the Shipwreckers show, which is a dope show.
Yeah,
just
picking up. Like,
that's every week, right?
Every week, every Sunday. Well, we were pushing it back because the Eagles are in the playoffs. So,
and the only person in South Florida is an Eagles that's
right?
an Eagles fan. It's the host of it.
Yo, I love this power that I have. Like,
I love it. Yeah.
The Eagles are gonna be playing. And I'll be like, hey, we're pushing the show to 8:30. Okay, all right, cool. And I'm just like, all right, I don't know, I could do this. All right,
I love it.
But so every Sunday 8:00 we have the show. It's down in Fort Lauderdale, and then all our open mic Coffee District in Delray.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't been to that one yet, but the Shipwreckers show that I did was super fun.
No, you did really good, dude. And
Thanks,
like one of the
man.
things I really love about that spot, especially we're talking a lot about like comedy. Like you have to come there with punchlines.
Yes.
They're not gonna It's a nice spot, and they will never boo you, but they will give you silence.
Yeah,
they will give you
that's
silence.
100% true.
And they will and that's the thing, yo. It forced me to make punchlines.
Yeah,
not just make relatable stories and just tell like outlandish shit. You know?
No, that is very true. Absolutely.
That's why you did really good there.
Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Like that was a fun show. I like it. I liked it a lot. But yeah, for me, you can find me on Instagram at Mike Valdes, on Twitter at I am Mike Valdes. You can go to whoismikevaldes.com to find out the answer to that question. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen.
Are we reviewing the Pacola?
Oh my gosh. Hang on. We're not done, ladies and gentlemen. Dean brought something awesome for the first time. A guest has brought something for us to review together.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited about this. Thank you so much for bringing this. So it's a soda.
Yeah.
Apparently. But yeah, so it's soda a la creme. So is it cream soda?
It's a cream soda. It's very Pakistani.
Okay.
Hence Pacola.
I love it.
I had one sip of this shit and I was immediately hooked.
Really?
It's really good.
Is this like their Coca-Cola?
Almost, but I mean it's a cola company. So the cola part. But
love it.
Yeah, if you want, you take like a little sip. The thing is, it's carbonated.
Yeah.
It's like what do you think?
So my immediate thought is that it reminds me of my grandmother's like talcum powder. But there's something so nostalgic about it that it actually tastes really good to me. This is talcum powder soda.
Talcum powder.
Where it's like You know how like it's like it's talcum powder, but it kind of has like a hint of lavender in it. Like,
it's talcum powder mixed with like Fabuloso.
Exactly. Yes, with Fabuloso and a little bit of lavender. Like that's what this tastes like to me.
You will start burping. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I actually really do like this, though.
It's good, right?
It actually is really good.
I'm telling you, bro.
I can understand why this could be addictive.
Yeah, it's and the weird thing is you can only find it in like Indian places.
Really?
Yeah, you can't find it in like Publix or nothing like that.
Okay. That's even in like the international food section?
Wait, Publix has an international food section?
Yeah, of course they do.
I didn't know
that?
I live in the ghetto, so my Publix like
I mean, dude.
The internet. Yo, instead of international food section, they have like a Popeyes. So
I love it.
I'm using that joke, bro.
That's so freaking funny. I love it.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. Yeah. No, they have an international food section at Publix. And they have plenty of things. Like you can get there's like a whole section of like Japanese things that you can get. And like they have like Japanese snacks and like Pocky and like I mean
wait, what's Pocky?
You don't know what Pocky is?
No.
It's
I'm not a Japanese guy. So.
They're basically long and thin wafers and then they're dipped in chocolate, strawberry, chocolate and almonds. Matcha is really popular, which is like a green tea. You're right about the burping, by the way.
Right.
I didn't even drink that much.
It's highly carbonated.
I had like no clue. Yeah, that's really highly carbonated. Holy cow. Yeah, but this is delicious.
You will gain like 10 pounds just from air.
What is what is this called again?
Pakola.
Pakola.
Yeah.
Man, I love it. It's a Pakistani cola.
Pakola.
Yeah, it's a little pun.
Only the real ones know about this one.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love this. Oh my gosh. Well, this has been so fun. We already plugged our social media and stuff like that, but follow us on social media. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Tell all of your friends to listen so that we can grow this family. Review us on iTunes if you have something nice to say. Give us 5 stars. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great week. Bye, besties.